A common misconception about barndominiums is that they're cheaper than building a house, and it's not the case. The reasons that a barndominium is not cheaper than building a house is because you still got to follow the same code. You still got to have the interior done. You still got to have bedrooms. You know, you're not just, unless you're just doing like hostel style, common one room, everyone's in there. You're going to have the bedrooms, you're going to have, you know, your kitchen. That's where all the expense adds up. You're still going to have to get a permit. You're still going to have to pass inspections, get engineering, excavation. Like all the costs are still there. So when you compare a barndominium to a similar style house, I mean, essentially it is a house. They're the same thing. It's just a buzzword. Now they are cool. Don't get me wrong, and I think they're really cool. I think they're a great idea, especially if you do, you know, a big building and then you chop, say you do a 40 by 80 and you do 40 by 40 of that, 1,600 square feet, 2 floors, 3,200 square feet of living, and then you have a 1,600 square foot shop on the other side with nice high ceilings. To me, that makes sense. That's sweet and a good way to go. And you'll save a little bit over, like if you're doing some complex house where you got steep roofs, you got a bunch of different pitches on the roof and it's all complicated. Yeah, you're going to save money on just a straight shot building, but you could just build a simple house too and save money. So they're not necessarily cheaper, but if you are going to do a shop and a house, they're a great way to go because you're combined. Now, one thing you want to do is you want to make sure either you don't have any direct access from the shop into the house because you get a lot of dust coming in through the shop into the house. And I've seen that happen to people before when they just had a direct door. So you could do like a entryway where you come in, you know, you shut the door to the shop and then you open the door and go into the house and have those both on spring-loaded doors so they stay shut and your kids don't leave them open. Or what I always recommend people on, like, whatever, if you have to go outside a bit, let's just put a little roof on the outside. You come out your house door, you go outside and you go back into the shop. It'd have to be pretty extreme weather for you not to be able to do that, even if you wanted to go in sock feet over to your shop or your flip-flops. You just go out, walk 4 feet back in, right? Get around that dividing wall. And then other things to consider is you're likely gonna have to have a fire-rated wall. If you want windows into the shop, which sometimes people want, you're gonna have to have fire-rated windows with the metal wire in there, right? That grid. Same thing with doors and everything. You're gonna have fire partition right up to the top generally. And then what we've done on some with living quarters one side, one end, and shop in the other is the roof trusses are designed a little bit different once you get over the living area too, because they're gonna be designed for living area and not for shop. So there's a few things to keep in mind, but the only way really to make it cheaper in a sense is to do a lot of the work yourself. And that's the way to make anything cheaper. If you don't value your time as much as you value your money, you can put time in or you can put money in. You're going to spend one or the other, right? That's where we can help with the barndo is we can come in, we can get the shell up. We're not a licensed home builder, so we don't build homes. So we can't do the interior. We can't finish it out. You know, we can't do your kitchens, your living rooms. We can only take it to a certain point, and then you're going to have to find subcontractors to bring in to do the rest of that. It's a great way if you are trying to save some money, do a bit yourself, bring in some subcontractors. You're basically taking on the role of a builder, so you're going to save what it would cost to hire, say, a home builder because you're going to pay their markup and stuff. You're basically going to pay for them to manage the project. Instead, you manage it yourself. So it is probably a little bit simpler to manage like a real simple barndominium build than it would be to manage a home build, and we can help you out with some of that. But if you're going to do it yourself and you're in British Columbia, that means you got to take the homeowner builder course. It's online, super easy. I've heard it's like, I don't even think it takes a whole day. I've known a few people have taken it, passed it, no problems, very easy to do. So you definitely want to look into that. That's something you'll want to take. And if you search it, you can find it. There's a thing online, you pay a bit of money and you can do the course and take the test and you basically guaranteed pass. And what they want to make sure is that you're not putting too much money to one person. So say you were like, hey, I'm going to homeowner build it, but I'm going to hire Faro Built to do the whole thing. They would say red flag, right? Because you paid all the money to this one person. They're like, okay, they're technically the builder. You're trying to cheat the system and you'd get in trouble that way. So what you want to do is you would say you hired us to do the shell or some other contractor to do the shell, get them to do the shell, you know, roofing, wall cladding, soffits, fascias, put the doors, windows in, that kind of thing. That's about as far as we could take it. Then from there, you could work on it. So some things you could do to save yourself some money when you're doing a barndominium would be putting insulation in the walls. You know, you could do the vapor barrier, look into how you're supposed to do that and how the Acousti-Seal and stuff works, but you could do that for sure. You're gonna have to hire electricians, plumbers. Now you could hang drywall if you're a fan of doing that and you got lots of time on your hands and you like doing work that nobody else likes, or you bring in a drywall crew But it's kind of up to you at that point, how much you want to do. There is stuff, you know, you're going to have a licensed trade do. But overall, it is a way you can save money by building a barndominium, and that's just doing a bunch of it yourself. If your only reason to do a barndominium is to save money and then you don't want to manage it, then you might as well build a house. But if you want a barndominium because you think it's cool and you like it, big open concept, go through a licensed home builder. Super simple, and get her done that way.